want us to survive. All we need is one touch so you and I can testify. Do you want a physician? He will give you a prescription and tell you the dosage might be fed like a mustard seed mixed with praises. Just believe the master, no deal in a counterfeit disaster. Run away from Obia man, Jesus is the only plan. Boy, we serve a mighty God, mighty, 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 mighty. We serve a mighty God, mighty, 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 mighty. Oluwa is mighty, oh, he might heal sickness in my body. We serve a mighty God, mighty, mighty.
For 10 years, Soiree, aka YADAS, have been bringing it home to you, enlightening, empowering, and edifying everyone. So in 2024, you're gonna get so much more every Friday from 8 p.m. till midnight. Hi, my people, Soiree, aka YADAS. This Friday with Madonna J, we are discussing why do you get refused and what you can do differently when you're reapplying. So it's not just about fretting, but we're giving you some tips about how you can be better in submitting your application to the embassy when you're applying for a visa. Be sure to be locked on from 8:30 till 9:30. Keys towards making your application a successful one. This Friday on YADAS, aka Soiree. And yes, it's the moment that you've been waiting for. And Madonna J is my name here on Isaac 98.1 FM The Promise. And like I always say, we're here because we care. We're the #1 family station in the nation. And this came out of a video that went viral, that a person, they got refused, and they were like, why this keep happening? Why this keep happening? They keep taking our money, and you know, you get that story all the time, and every time I pay, why don't I get a refund? Have you all ever heard those questions asked before? Why don't I get a refund when I apply for a visa? So, you know, I went out and I sorted some information for you guys because I knew that this would help you in your presenting your next application if you would have gotten refused. I knew when I sent it out to different groups, you know, someone said they actually got refused 5 times, and I was I was really amazed. And it's because, again, you only work with the information that you have. You all agree with that, right? You can only work with the information that you have, and if you don't have all the information that is necessary to help you, then you know what you'll do. You know, we can't expect more than what you're doing. And then sometimes in Trinidad and Tobago, the information isn't really what you expect. So you'll be seeing me online. I'm in interject at times because I had the interview with Mr. Figaro in the United States. And how can persons, you know, do better? What are they to do? Now, I would have known this, but I like getting information from qualified persons as well. Although, you know, I may be very much informed, having that diplomatic background for many years, but I want you all to understand the different dynamics, okay? So this is information you can share. And some of it may cause you to do some introspect because you're just looking at one side of the coin, all right? So this is to actually help you look at the other sides as well, yeah? So here we go. Are you ready? Are you ready? So share it, share the information. Don't keep it to yourself. All right, this could be shared throughout the Caribbean because there are a few countries in the Caribbean that would require a visa to go to the United States, to go to Canada, right?
Mr. Brian Figueres, all the way from the United States. And like I always say, we're here because we care, because he's talking to us about immigration to the United States. And you know, lots of persons will have so many concerns, issues, things that would have been going on, and they have no idea of what to do, and they need correct information.
Yes.
But this is the person you need to speak with, because he gives you all the information that is needed. He's passionate about helping people, and this can take you from where you were to where you want to be. So it's Mr. Brian Figaro and Associates. in New York. So a lot of persons in Trinidad ask questions when they apply for visas, why they don't get back their money. They apply 3, 4 times. They just like, the people come here to take our money. So recently a guy posted a video. He was
Right.
really upset. He was like, okay, well, I get refused once, but I have nothing that I needed. So they're like, so what does the immigration look for you to get a visa?
Right. So for those people who obviously what they're trying to get is the B1, B2 visitors visa, is for vacation or for business. Um, the U.S. consulate, the U.S. government is concerned as to, what is the intent of this person? Do they want this visa to come to the U.S. and stay here? Do they really have a business transaction, a vacation plan, as part of the itinerary that will show they will come from week for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, but obviously not for too long a time. Although they may give you 3 months, 6 months when you enter the US, what is your vacation plan? So if you're going to Disney World, whether it be in New York, South Florida, California, what is the itinerary? Are you coming to New York City? What's the vacation plan? Where are you going to stay? And they want to see, obviously, that you have sufficient income to pay for that vacation whilst in the US. You're not supposed to work in the US. You look at your family relationships. Are you married, but it's just you and your strong child going on that vacation? As opposed to the whole family, unless they go to Disney World or other events like that. So your savings, how much money do you have in your pocket? 5, 10, 20,000 US equivalent in $50. How long have you been at your job? So submitting as much evidence as possible that will show, even though they may not ask for it, your financial stability is important. And obviously, if you're going places like Disney World or any theme park in New Jersey, you will show obviously tickets and this is your stint here, this is what you're going to be getting with the tickets there and everything for that particular vacation. Or we'll give it a travel agency in TT that will obviously be promoting those vacation events, obviously will be very helpful. And those travel agencies, some of them will actually give further advice in that application process. Now, if it is a business,
So I wanted to pause there because I really want to dissect and go into it for you all to help you. So if you notice, he mentioned your financial status. So sometimes some people renewing and they think, well, no, I don't need to send it, it's just a renewal, right? But we see everything before you all get there, all right? And the information you put on paper, if it's not enough, that's all they have to work with. So that's the information that, you would have sent in. So sometimes some people say, well, I don't need to send in that. And then they realize, but why, it was just a renewal and that kind of thing. So I want you to grab hold of key points that are necessary for you to have when you are presenting your application, yeah?
that application process. Now, if it is a businessman, that's another issue. So we are involved with the law office, different business deals that we are involved with in Tobago, in Trinidad, and through our Chamber of Commerce, through the businesses that we do at Cabron Associates as it relates to law with business. We will do a supporting letter from the Chamber as to, okay, this gentleman, they might be here for investment purposes. We want to have meetings to discuss various business ventures. And their plan is to return to their home country, TNT or whichever, and they will show obviously any type of business certifications or assets that they may hold in TNT relevant particular business transaction. Um, Obviously, people who want to come here and stay, they have a different intent. So, but you and the people who are frustrated because they apply over and over and they lose their money, it's because one, they're not prepared, but two, more importantly, they may not qualify. Do they have the income? Are they at flight risk? Because obviously a lot of people look at the US as the land of honey and they want some of that honey. Nothing wrong with that, but America doesn't want to share its honey.
Honey.
And during a presidential year, or when if President Trump was to become president, his position on immigration issues is very anti-immigrant. People at the border trying to come in for political asylum from various countries, including Venezuela, Trinidad, a lot of Venezuelans there. People arriving at the border from Africa, other countries, Haiti. They want to get in, i.e., to file for political asylum. So that has created a huge crisis in New York City, where if you listen to the mayor, he's saying that it's causing the city over $1 billion or more to accommodate those immigrants that are coming to the U.S. and they're shipping them from, putting them in trucks or cars, whatever, in Texas, and they're sending them down to New York City for obviously political reasons. Immigration is what obviously has made America grow. And most of the immigrants will be integrated into the U.S. citizens, those coming for political asylum, because there's a lot of jobs available. Many states actually have absorbed those people, including New York City, but the time between being here through political asylum and getting the work permit and other work documents that you qualify for before you have your hearing as to whether or not your political asylum application is a legit one, that time period could be a long time. So the whole issue here in the US is obviously the processing times, how long does it take to process these people. So having bearing this in mind, the consulates throughout the Caribbean, Africa, Latin America will scrutinize applications mostly. They want to dot their I's, cross their T's, and make sure that the people who are applying for these, programs really. Now, how is the TNT economy doing? Is there high unemployment rates there? So if you have high unemployment rates in Trinidad and Tobago, then they will scrutinize it even more. Because if there's a high unemployment rate in TNT or Jamaica, wherever in the Caribbean they may be coming from, they're looking at the economic conditions in their country. They're thinking, okay, well, what's the unemployment rate now there? That's an important thing. So that also brings more scrutiny. Also, some people who might be coming as visitors, we have some of those entertainers, they try to come on the visitors visa, but they want to come and perform here in the US. Obviously, that's not the correct visa they need. They need a P visa for people who come from entertainers. So the choice of visa that you're going to apply for also is important. Most times, obviously, people who are millionaires in the Caribbean, they don't have problems getting these visitors visa. But programs like the EB5 program, where you might invest $500,000 or $1 million in a US business through a regional center, that investor could get a green card for the spouse, the investor, and all the children. So there are many different visa categories people could look at that might be, a more honest visa application that they want to apply for. And most times now through personal, people, if they really want jobs, if that's their intent, is an H-1B visa appropriate for you? Are you a professional? Do you have a degree? Do you, teachers, maybe people who qualify for the J1 visas or H1B visa?
H1, okay.
Right. So people
The
need H1B.
unemployment rate, when you ask, I googled this 3.81%. And they say it's a decline from 2021, which it went down from 2021 to 2022.
Well, that's good. um, so so it means that a lot of people have jobs. Now,
Yeah.
unless that information is incorrect, because it's the election next year,
Yes,
and the government wants people to think otherwise. You understand?
you could say it. You in
So,
America.
yeah. So eventually, people don't. The government, want people to be happy. When's the next election in TT? Next year,
Next
2020.
year, I think next year is an election year.
Right. But obviously the U.S. consulates and the U.S. government also look at these statistics, so they might adjust those numbers accordingly if they think the government
But we'll
is
see how it
under
looks in January
performance.
2025. Because we have already started the lottery giving out houses. So next year is a hot election year. Um, so that was my next question. You delve straight into it. Some of the other categories that persons could apply for because they just think, they just need the visitor. And I know with regards to the spousal, what are some other applications persons can look towards if they want to migrate from Trinidad to the US?
Right.
The
So
opportunity
obviously,
they would
yeah.
have.
So no, migration is very difficult. So most time when people visit the U.S. with their visitors visa, the B1, B2 vacation business, they explore those possibilities when they're here. They might look at educational institutions to see, okay, do I need to further my studies? Um, and to be quite honest, some people need to actually look at the degrees that they are studying for higher learning at the university or the U.S. schools. So what is the labor market in the United States? Who are the people being granted um, visas in work categories that is in demand? Obviously, professionals in AI technology, uh, registered nurses. These are, anyone in medical field is always in high demand. In the trades, carpentry, plumbers, people obviously with proper certifications.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've met many people over the years that came here and they have, high qualifications in plumbing, welding, the professions, and they ended up making six-figure salaries here. Some of them starting their own business, holding several homes, you know. Um, so, people sometimes, and in these modern times, research is easier with AI technology, whether it be Google, whether it be Copilot with Microsoft. You ask a specific question, you will get better answers rather than just doing a Google search. Uh, looking at the US Labor Department in terms of jobs that I demand, their salaries. So you may not be successful now if you try to come here and you don't have money, but what you want to do is, if you don't have money, why not educate yourself? Why not make yourself more marketable? So it doesn't matter where is, in this world you're living, wherever in society, grab the opportunities that the government has given you. Pass those CXC things, get your A levels, attend the university or the Westernese or other professional organizations there in TT. So you don't just sit down with your thumb in your mouth waiting for something to happen. Those are, those are the basic steps that you will take. And whenever all these trainees come back for Canada, maybe you might find a citizen that you could fall in love with and get married. But there's no guarantee there either. That person might just decide on you rather than
You
you understand?
understand?
Because it's just a bona fide marriage and all these kind of
And
things,
then
you
they
know.
tell
So
you, so what if I have somebody there? I could have somebody here too. What kind of crazy things, you know? Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
But no, people have come, especially so after Lent, all those Trinis, Tobagonians, come back home, they come and they say, Brian, man, met this beautiful lady, I met this gorgeous guy, I want to get married. I say, you should contact the green card man, or the lady go to the jet and say, well, um, you go there, and people, just like how you looking at people looking at you, just like a Yankee, whatever. You understand? And obviously, there's protections in the system. So, I mean, that's how obviously some people migrate to the US because they're lucky to find someone that, they enter into a bona fide marriage with and things happen. So I've had that where people obviously come back on vacation, have you, or when they come here as visitors, they go out, they socialize, they come on the student visas or visiting visas. But that's the fastest part of legalization to get a green card, and that's why I call the U.S. government the love government, but they're protecting the U.S. citizens, so to speak, not the immigrant. But these happen in all walks of society. We're not just talking about the Caribbean, but people from us everywhere, also, all over Asia. I mean, these things happen. But obviously, if you have, you know, a lot of times people make mistakes in life and they think, oh, okay, let me find another path. Other paths could be, can you migrate to England? Could you go to other countries in the Middle East that give job opportunities? So you may not be able to come to the US, but there's high demand for qualified labor in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, these places that have a lot of money. They're doing a lot of construction. They're doing a lot of expansion, and there are opportunities there for professionals and others. So, the U.S. may not be maybe your first choice, but you can also get very lucrative jobs in there also in other countries, and they are very wealthy African countries also. Those are things that people should exploit, not just narrow. So people need to obviously research, see what is happening, look at their qualifications. No country wants to get people who is going to be a burden to society.
That's true.
Save your money, obviously, save your money so you can show that you have accumulated money over time, that you have money to afford that vacation. Try to obviously get a good job, and if the unemployment rate is so low, obviously try to obviously get a good job and keep that job and try to move up on that job. And things like that will obviously qualify you for a visa where you come here on vacation and you may not even want to stay in the US. Most people
Right.
return to their home countries. They just want to come for vacation, that's fine. But the scrutiny that they have for people who visit or for all the other categories, that scrutiny is not decreasing, it's increasing.
How is it for students, easy for students, after they have studied to apply for their green card? I got some students who are asking me that. And
Like
yeah,
from the university or from
from the
O
university,
levels and A levels.
from the university over there, to get to
To
stay
get the
after.
universities here. You mean after
Yeah,
they graduate?
yeah, after they finish their
I
degree.
mean, everyone who gets a student visa, if it's in the sciences you can work for up to 2 years. And if it's non-science, it's normally a year. So you go to a university here in the US, that's the first option. And obviously choosing the right degree makes you more productive in terms of the labor demand in the US. So they're not gonna want to give you a H-1B visa or part to getting a green card if your job is not in high demand. So if you come to the U.S. and your university studies is in an area that is in low demand, one, why did you do that in the first place? And two, from an economic point of view, obviously it's a bad choice. So some people want to do what they would like as opposed to what is in demand. And that's the problem that a lot of young people have. They really need to plan. You know, the standard of living that you have with jobs that are in high demand and keep trending in high demand, obviously, is a lot better. You could purchase a home, you could, you know, afford to live in better neighborhoods, you have better pension plans. Um, they say so. Career advice, man. People really need to really, you know, analyze from a financial perspective and not a comfort perspective what is best. So if registered nurses are making six figures, but teachers are making less, what should you choose? Be a teacher or be a nurse? A registered nurse. You know,
Wow, that's
or
all.
I'm gonna work with patients, but you get more money for that.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this, you know, comes from the people in terms of what type of planning that they do in the future. Obviously, people who live in, you know, less fortunate neighborhoods here or back home, they will not easily qualify. So if you live in Village A in TNT, just like how you know that's not a good neighborhood in Wisconsin, that you know that also.
Yes, yes, and it's actually highlighted, sadly, um, you know, as like a watch for kind of thing, as you would know,
Right, so
as well.
it's a red flag,
Yeah,
you know? Is this guy from Laventille the same person as the person from St. Augustine? You understand? Uh,
yeah.
and they know that the person living in a particular neighborhood will be more inclined to stay in the U.S. for economic reasons.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going there for a vacation, they're going for economic reasons.
Right, right.
So, unfortunately, the U.S. consulate discriminates with their B1B2
Yeah,
visa
hello?
legally as to, okay,
All right, I come in.
is this person really going to return? But you must have that intent. So they have different things that they look at. Maybe go live with your auntie somewhere else, or
Yes,
you
yeah,
understand.
yeah.
Obviously, education tells you a lot also.
Mm-hmm.
So pay attention to obviously your studies, and anyone, young people should always obviously do so. Uh,
I didn't hear that. Young people
I
should.
think younger people, they should look at the future.
Yes,
But
that's it.
that's what the world is all about. America is not just going to open their doors, or no other countries is just going to open their doors if they don't think that you could benefit their country.
Yeah, right. That is it. That for sure is something that when we play in it, we would over endorse. You must be a benefit. So it comes like it comes like life itself, you know?
And it is life itself. And those people are very well trained at the consulate. They do their own investigations. They could go out in the neighborhoods and
Been
verify
there,
the
done
information that
that.
you gave.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, if there's red flags or if they get negatives, you might be banned for life.
Hmm.
But they may tell you, oh, you're banned for 3 years, 5 years, like the gentleman who said he keep applying.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, what has changed every time he applies?
They don't understand that, and I keep saying, "What about your circumstances has been different from the last time you applied?"
Right. What
You keep,
what about you and your experience, your education, your savings, and everything that has changed? And you know, obviously, the consulates that's their job to determine who comes in and who doesn't.
So spousal seems to be the fastest one. Parents, children, sponsorship, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
And
children who are here 21 years. So they call that the immediate relative category. So once people are in the US, some of them overstay their visitor's visa, obviously, and that's what the consulates are trying to avoid. Come here, they make, you know, they get people get jobs off the books as they call it. You understand that always help the underground economy, and those are millions of people in the US. People stay here 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and even more, and they never legalize in the US for one reason or the other. And it's not criminality, do you understand? And, you know, so people for religious reasons waiting for the person who is equally yoked, same religion, they're not getting married for a green card. You know, so people think that, you know,
Yeah,
everyone doesn't
Apostle,
just get married for a green card. People
that's true.
you on
have
your way,
certain
right?
principles that they, you know, they go to
What's that?
church, they believe in God, whoever God may be,
No, we
and they want
confirm
to
that, and
get
I
married for
will
whatever
organize
reason.
and
Yeah.
But
we
obviously,
say we on
you
for
know, people don't always
9:30.
find love. But the immediate relative category where
No, you tell me
they
that.
could do a spousal petition, the spouse is a US
No,
citizen to get the
Apostle.
green card
After
in
that,
the
I
US.
said we
If your
okay.
spouse is a
We
green
on and I'm
card
going and
holder,
organize the promo and
if you overstay your
everything.
time in
I
the
had
US,
that
if you do a
conversation with
provisional, you've
you.
got to waive the 3 or 10 year bar that you may be
Huh?
subject to if you overstay your time.
Okay, thank you, Jesus. Okay,
So
so you'll
these are
come
some
here
of the
just
things
now,
that are
right?
happening on an
All
ongoing
right, praise God.
basis.
You scare me
So,
anyway.
you know,
All
it's
right,
estimated,
bye
as I
bye.
said, 15, 20 million people that are undocumented underground economy all over the US. And sometimes people have family here that really doesn't have a true path for legalization. And those family take care of family.
Yeah.
Or they may have
One.
entered the US without inspection over the border.
Right.
So not everyone is apprehended at the border,
Yes, that's true.
right? And if you did move over the border, most people wouldn't qualify for political asylum. And if you do, you have 1 year within entry when you enter without inspection to file for political asylum. Obviously, TNT has been oil rich for many years. They have good businesses, and so the success rate for people getting visitors visas is mostly with TNT.
Yes. I have a quick question. Somebody was saying recently that their son was 18 years old and he was able to sponsor him.
No, the son has to be 21 years or older, U.S. citizen.
But I told them that, but they were adamant he was 18.
Right.
And
No,
so I said I had to ask you if the laws changed somewhere.
no, it didn't change, and you could have a bush lawyer or bush doctor. The bush doctors, and you better you're a bush doctor, right? So.
No, I'm not. I know of some.
No, I'm just saying when you move on medicines, you understand what I'm saying?
The naturopathic doctors, yes, they use an alternative.
So what happens?
But it still helps.
So people come here and they go to,
It's true.
we call it in the US notoriety. People who are notary that practice law without a license.
Oh.
If they are state and other states, there are other restrictions on that. Obviously, federal law doesn't allow you to practice law without a license, nor state law. And a lot of people are misguided, misinformed, or embezzled. You know?
Yeah.
One of the cases that we worked on in the office was with a gentleman from Grenada, Ali Louison. And he actually submitted hundreds of fraudulent applications for people to get a work permit and green card under the Violence Against Women's Act. And obviously, there's rules as to who qualified for it. People were signing blank forms unknowingly. And he made, I would assume, if you have over 2,000, 3,000 victims, probably a couple $1 million well. Um, and we worked with some of the victims, and they cooperated with the U.S. government, both at the state and federal level. He was arrested. He had over 10 counts of fraud, federal fraud, and he actually died before his trial. I think he was suffering from diabetes or something. But they have had other people over the years that we've seen. Lady from Trinidad and Tobago, so that was definitely TNT out, a gentleman from Nigeria. So it's always obviously, people who look like you. There was obviously people in the Latino community taking advantage of people. Because when people come in for a consultation, and you tell them what the law is and how they qualify, they are hoping that somebody is going to be smarter than a lawyer, and they're looking for ways past the legalization.
They're not telling them what they want to hear. That is it. They come for advice, but they already have in their head what they want. It's crazy.
A lot of people, obviously, from the Caribbean have been defrauded this way. Many people have come to the office, they're crying. Some of them have been placed into deportation because obviously you're not supposed to sign blank form. So there's consequences for one if you were trying to commit fraud, and consequences if you're so stupid as to not to sign forms that obviously without reading what's on it. You cannot put yourself to the mercy of someone. And they're charging 500 or 1,000, not much money, that should be an alarm. Or sometimes they charge a lot of money. So if they're charging a little money or too much money that attorneys don't charge, it tells you that's a red flag.
Yeah.
But people want to take a risk.
Yeah.
So they don't want to do marriage fraud, which is understandable, but they want to do another fraud, which is stupidity. Obviously, ignorance doesn't exonerate you. And so a lot of years people were swearing by this hallelujah, he's a great this like that. They're so sure, they didn't know how it was under power, and in those applications, they were saying that some little child is abusing them. No, it's marriage. It could be family, yes, but not a baby.
Unknown caller.
Yeah, hello?
So there are a lot of ridiculous facts released.
Yeah, come by the studio.
Okay, cool.
All right, baby.
And ironically, his office was right across the street from Thomas from Clark. You understand? So it's happening right in the neighborhood. And there were some white folks who were defrauded too. So it's not only black and brown people desperate or stupid that make mistakes. Obviously, just more people from the Caribbean.
Wow.
So that's another. And when people come here on their visitors' visas, that's so obviously. We tell people, okay, is the attorney, the immigration attorney, is that person a member of the American Immigration Lawyers Association, which is an organization that I've been a part of since 1997. That's a very long.
Yeah.
The American Immigration, and we have that on our website, and it shows my latest renewal to my membership there. We have conferences every year. This year's conference is in June. And we send people to training sometimes, so I myself might go, we order materials. We do a lot of sophisticated areas also, which is EB5, E2, people who want to start businesses here. So people who want to start a business, we could discuss those issues with them. Simple businesses, it could be a beauty salon, it could be small businesses also, not multi-million-dollar businesses. So people shouldn't just assume that there's no opportunities that could present itself from a business perspective, especially if they've had a successful business for many years back home and they think that that business could flourish in the United States.
Gotcha. Wow, well, that's a lot of information, real information for persons who wanting to know why they get refused, what are the opportunities, what they can do for themselves to get to the other level, to prepare themselves and get themselves qualified. So it's so much information inside the interview persons that when we run it, you can go back and listen because it can help you as a person. Because, you know, it's like, I think as well what came out of it, he didn't just give you fishes, but he taught you how to fish. And a lot of times people, lazy, don't want to get up and do what they have to do. It's like there are some things you just have to do for yourself, you know? And I think a lot of it as well came out there in persons, you know, qualifying yourself, observing you, making sure that you are better qualified instead of just quarreling. I get refused every time I go, I get refused, wait as they want, and, you know, that kind of thing.
And, you know, I really want to reiterate that fact because persons who would have been talking to me would have not thought through, well, have my circumstances changed? And definitely that makes a difference because if you were in one place yesterday and you go back 3 months after and you're in that same place, then there's been no movement. And because you were refused the first time based on those circumstances and nothing has changed, what do you think will happen the next time? You know, and even a simple thing of earlier in the conversation he mentioned about the bank statement and you realize, well, you know, I didn't send it in the first time, then sending it in now will show, well, yes, okay, this person has some sort of financial value as well, and all the other documents that they didn't send in. And sometimes because they know that you should be aware that these are some basic requirements and you didn't do it, then you know you the obvious, you know, you would get refused. So that is a factor that you need to hold on to. What has changed, what has been different since then to now, instead of just saying, well, I apply like 3 times and I get refused, and because you just apply and apply and apply, you know, you need to stop, think, and consider what should I do different. And I think that is the whole thing of moving forward. And then he spoke about, you know, the self-development and so many other things this evening that could really, really help you when you're making that next move, instead of thinking, well, I spend money and why does it not get back the money and all that kind of thing, you know.
Participated in a conference in Jamaica in the month of June, the 19th, the 18th, the 17th, I think the 16th, those 4 days, 16th,
Okay.
17th. We like
So
to
will
do
you be in
something.
Trinidad?
Huh?
When will you be in
So we
Trinidad?
like to do something in TNT also.
We'll talk after
Yeah,
we finish.
so
Yeah.
we could explore that. So we could have a couple of days, and we have different type of seminars that deal
Yeah.
with different methods of investing or immigrating as a business person, as a lay person, so to speak. Uh, Pastors who are associated with churches here in the U.S. can be actually petitioned for by those churches back home that have relationship with other churches here to be saved, whether it be non-denominational or denominational. So there's a whole host of different, you know, methods to immigrate to the U.S. But obviously, like any other any other business, you have to plan. There are a lot of obviously people well off in TNT, and the EB5 programs are great programs that we could, you know, and people who have money, that type of money, $500,000 US, they could actually, I mean, when the investor's spouse, or the investor's children go to their green card, those kids have a benefit. They obviously being green card holders and local US citizens, they qualify for scholarships and programs that other people may not qualify for. So the investor may be doing this not so much for themselves, because obviously they're well off, but obviously for their children who might want to attend various universities here. And that's like a return on investment for whatever they invest, but they still make money from their investment. So it's, you know, it offers a lot of creativeness and ideas to people. The 65 was very popular in China, uh, South Korea, and other Asian countries. And obviously, it's an international, it's not just restricted to Asia, but it's also Arabian. I mean, when we're talking about that in Jamaica.
You're going to Jamaica. Trust me. Well, thank you for your time.
Oh, and the other thing is this, is look at, you have different Italian restaurants here, you have different Irish restaurants. How about setting up a TNT restaurant chain in the US?
That is it.
You have to start three of the same business for it to become a franchise in New York State. What?
And we could cook.
Yes. And what we have to do is look at, okay, but sometimes you have to adjust the menu for different tastes.
Right, yeah, definitely. Because we know we're very spicy. Yeah, we're very spicy.
Carbohydrate, you understand? So you could vary your recipes, what have you. So I mean, so those are some of the things that we're going to talk about when we go to Jamaica. What franchise exists here that could actually exist in the US.
You're getting some good ideas there on expansion. You know, many times we speak about that, we say it, and have we sought information that could make us wiser? Have we sought information?
So those are some of the opportunities that U.S. immigration law give and business law give to international relationships. So the more information people have, then they could say, okay, they have to put, the
options.
The listenership has to put these things, they listen and say, okay, yes, this is a kind of like a comprehensive stuff here, getting ideas. And then using ChatGPT and other things, they could do further research. And then when they think they're ready and they have a whole long list of questions, they could do a consultation with us so that we could help them refine it.
Okay, I'll do throw some things out there because we have a few good ones.
Right, so you all see and you all heard, and you all could always go back on the Facebook Live and gather the information. So, we always talk about, as Christians, we walk by faith and not by sight, and so many other things that we would have declared and all of that, and if you have relatives in the States, then they can contact them.
We've got answers. For a consultation or to refer a client, visit www.askthelawyer.us. Again, www.askthelawyer.us. You can also register for all.
Right, so that part of it, you all definitely could do that, get all the information, we presented it to you, and now you can go back and listen and explore the options for your expansion for 2024, which you probably was desiring, and something just got stirred up inside of you that hey, better must come according to positive, and you realize that yes, you could identify with what he is saying and so much more. So stick and stay, don't touch that dial. We've got some more stuff coming up. I got Dr. Ian Cummings coming in, and Esther as well, and yes, we're going to be having another feisty topic, but this was to inform you. And I saw the messages, and I think I covered a lot of the questions when I had the interview, so it kind of like touched home, yeah?
It's more than a feeling, more than the blessings, yeah. I want a new experience, strengthen my senses. Like a veteran I wanna see mysteries. Draw me in closer, Lord, just like a chain reaction.